Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun lived together as husband and wife in the bunker for less than 40 hours. By 1 a.m. on Monday, April 30, 1945, Field Marshal Wilhelm Keitel had reported that all of the forces Hitler had been depending on to rescue Berlin had either been encircled or forced onto the defensive. At around 2:30 a.m., Hitler appeared in the corridor where about 20 people were assembled to give their farewells. He went down the line, shaking hands and speaking with each of them, before going back to his room. Later that morning, with the Soviets less than 500 meters from the Führerbunker, Hitler had a meeting with General Helmuth Weidling, the commander of the Berlin defense area. Weidling told Hitler that the garrison would likely run out of ammunition that night, and that the fighting in Berlin would come to an end within the next 24 hours. He asked for permission for a breakout, but Hitler didn't answer, and Weidling went back to his headquarters in the Bendeler block. Around 1 p.m., he received Hitler's permission to attempt a breakout that night. Hitler, 2 secretaries, and his personal cook then had lunch, after which Hitler and Braun said goodbye to members of the bunker staff and fellow occupants, including Martin Bormann, Joseph Goebbels, their secretaries, and military officers. At around 2:30, Hitler and Braun went into Hitler's personal study. His adjutant, SS Sturmbannführer, Otto Gunshot, stood guard outside the study door. After some time, Hitler's valet, Heinz Linger, entered the antechamber to Hitler's quarters, where he discovered the door close and could smell gunpowder smoke. He went back out to the corridor where Bormann was standing, and they entered the study together. Linger later stated that while in the room he immediately noted a scent of burnt almonds, which is a common observation in the presence of hydrogen cyanide. He saw the bodies of Hitler and Braun sitting upright on their sofa, with Hitler to Braun's right. Hitler's head was leaning to the right. Gunsh entered the study shortly after. He described Braun's corpse as being on Hitler's left, with her legs drawn up and slumped away from him. Gunsh said that Hitler sat sunken over, with blood dripping out of his right temple. He had shot himself with his own pistol. Of all the ppk.65. The gun lay at his feet. Hitler's blood had made a large stain on the right arm of the sofa and was pooling on the rug. According to Heinz Linger, Braun's body had no visible wounds, and her face showed she had died from cyanide poisoning. Gunshaw and SS Brigadier Führer Wilhelm Munch stated that all outsiders and those performing duties and work in the bunker did not have any access to Hitler's private living quarters during the time of death, estimated between 3 and 4 p.m. Gunshaw left the study and announced to a group in the briefing room, which included Goebbels, Krebs, and General Wilhelm Burgdorf, that Hitler was dead. These three, in addition to others including Hitler Youth leader Arthur Axmann, saw the bodies. Linger and another man rolled up Hitler's body in a rug, and then, in accordance with Hitler's written and verbal instructions, his and Braun's bodies were carried up the stairs and through the bunker's emergency exit to the garden behind the Reich Chancellery, where they were to be burned with petrol. The bunker telephone operator SS Oberscharführer Okus misreported Hitler's death to Führer Escort Command Chief Franz Schadel and returned to the switchboard, later recalling someone shouting that Hitler's body was being burned. After the first attempts to ignite the petrol did not work, Linger went back inside the bunker and returned with a thick roll of papers. Bormann lit the papers and threw them onto the bodies. As the corpses caught fire, a group including Bormann, Gunshaw, Linger, Goebbels, Erich Kempka, Peter Hodl, Ewald, Lindloff, and Hans Reisser, raised their arms in salute as they stood in the bunker doorway. At around 4:15 that evening, Heinz Linger ordered SS Untersturmführer Heinz Kruger and SS Oberscharführer Werner Schwedel to roll up the rug in Hitler's study and burn it. Schwedel later stated that upon entering the study, he saw a pool of blood the size of a large dinner plate by the armrest of the sofa. The two men removed the blood-stained rug and carried it up the stairs and outside to the Chancellery garden, where it was burned. The Red Army shelled the area in and around the Reich Chancellery on and off through the afternoon. SS guards brought over additional cans of petrol to further burn the corpses. At around 6:30 that evening, Lindelof moved the remains to a shallow bomb crater. The shelling and a fire from napalm incendiary bombs continued until Wednesday, May 2, 1945. During this period it was difficult to spend any time in the garden because of the continuous shelling from the Red Army.